Well, it's over. Ancelotti, by the way, if he's out tonight, better than tomorrow. With all the thanks and all the gratitude we owe to this gentleman, and even if it looks bad to dismiss him today, well, I say it, but it's not going to happen. But it would be very interesting, because today not only was it not possible, it was impossible. It was impossible to do it, but not even with that craziness, because sometimes that craziness we saw at the Bernabeu. Welcome, I haven't said anything to you, how are you? Well, the wound will take a little time to heal there, but it's a bitter night, but well, we'll move forward. The thing is, what's left, right? What's left is very complicated, and that's where I'm going. Of course, when you see that, the team cannot even guarantee that crazy moment, because in other years, when that has happened, which we've been referring to all these days about the madhouse and all that, it was because there was a foundation, because the matches might get complicated, but you knew that the team then had strength up front. A trajectory during the season that, even with your slip-ups, more or less big, but you knew there was something there. And today I think we all knew there was very little there, because this is explained from a football perspective, since at no moment did the match get crazy. It was rough. It had the penalties, which, by the way, we'll get to that later, because the referee today was not an ally in any way. Rather, it was the opposite. But no, I do not blame him in any way, because it was impossible. It's just that has won this round against us. Well, they have won both matches. They beat us 3-0 and 1-2. It's true that the last goal was when we were already all forward, and also, okay, but even that, right? I mean, it ends up being even worse to lose, right? But we lost to a team that is decent. It is a decent team. It's not going to be the champion of Europe unless there's a big surprise. It's a decent team, a team that is together. They know what they are doing, how they need to play, how they need to be positioned, and they have routines. That is the opposite of what Real Madrid is. The opposite. And look, I think it might do us good that we were eliminated without a very major trauma. Well, the 3-0 was complicated, but you lose 1-2 and so on. I mean, it's not like when Ajax knocked us out a few years ago, 1-4, because that hurts too. There isn't a thrashing. There was one, I insist, in London, but it's not something so serious, right, that it leaves a memory, that hurts you a lot later. Well, look, it has eliminated you, and maybe it did us a favor, because imagine Real Madrid, how Real Madrid how this team is facing Paris Saint-Germain, which is another team with systems prepared, worked, and such. And then if we got through that, a final against Barca. So nothing, guys. They will already have enough against Barca in the Copa Final, and the match at Montjuic in the league. And that's my point. If you don't fire Ancelotti today, he's going to deliver the same disasters anyway. The same disasters against a team that has beaten you twice, Barca. And this year, Madrid has been about that big embarrassments, meaning heavy defeats, powerlessness like today. And later, if perhaps we have won, because we have won matches, gosh, but we have won with a lot of suffering against small teams. We are not ready for anything, because a well-prepared team, if Madrid were well-prepared, would have won more second balls today than it did. I imagine you noticed throughout the whole game, Arsenal didn't play the ball out all the time. No. They didn't complicate things, except for Saliba in that play when he took the ball from Vinicius. By the way, Saliba, if we were thinking of signing him, hey, he's a very good center back, right? But he did have a couple of moments that were questionable, especially the one with the goal from Vinicius. At that moment, by the way, we thought chaos might break out, but nothing. Then let's go to that. But as I said, Arsenal wasn't bringing the ball out in a very academic way. No, they didn't want to play it out. They wanted to complicate things as little as possible. Now, what did they do up front? They pressed up front, and especially they won those second balls. For high, when Madrid did it, balls up to the midfielders or forwards to see if they won that ball. It will always be easier for the one defending that ball facing forward than for the forward or the midfielder who has their back to the goal. They usually win it. The team usually wins against those balls. But you can have a percentage of, you can win 30%. They win 70%, but you win 30%. And from there, you build an attack. It's just that Madrid practically didn't win any of those. They won all of them, second balls from above, and then they got them and think, how lucky they fall to them. No, that's not luck. That's work. Then the players are bad. No, excuse me. If it happens to everyone, it's not everyone's fault. But the coaches were in the same situation as always. The coach asked for effort from them, asked them, and today Madrid has made an effort. But as I said, what Ancelotti mentioned yesterday about the guts, today they were. Today the team was there, but why weren't they winning those balls? Because they are poorly positioned. Who positions them? The coach. Why don't you reach that? Because you're poorly positioned. They are well positioned. They know what to do. They press well up front. The team doesn't split. It doesn't get stretched. Notice, huh? Big kick. In many cases, them big kick and pressing high. They won many, and when they lost them, they pressed high and recovered. And if they didn't recover, then the team wasn't stretched out. Madrid started an attack, and you didn't get the feeling that Madrid's players reached with ease into Arsenal's area, and those actions weren't created that Arsenal did find, which they missed quite a few. I mean, I want to say they have finished those kinds of actions. The goal one because Martinelli's is a counter-attack, but only Saka's goal because they could have finished many more. When Odegaard got distracted and such, he missed a couple, but maybe with more accuracy, it's 1-3-1 today. 4 also. But why does Merino find Saka in that play? Because Madrid was making it so easy for him. Why doesn't Madrid find that against a team that was already pressing high? I mean, a team that wasn't parked. Arsenal didn't park the bus today, right? Because you say, hey, look, it was impossible to open the tin because they were completely closed in. No. What happens is that Arsenal defends well and the team doesn't break apart and doesn't spread out. And they manage to press high and they manage to defend well at the back. And they don't give you those kinds of chances. They don't give you those options. And you do give them. Why? Because look at how Madrid defended. How they arrived. The 4 up front were already exhausted. They weren't defending. And of course, the ones who stay back, the line of 4 and a couple of midfielders, what are they going to do there? Well, they do what they can. But I insist, a well-drilled team would have created 2 or 3 actions at the edge of the area for a shot by Fede, who is your best football player in long-distance shooting. I am not referring to the free kick, which, well, yes, Vinicius draws it and such, and on top of that, it hits the wall. But anyway, if you know how to damage the opposing team with your players, because we're not talking about the legs of bad players, we're talking about the best in the world. There lies Ancelotti's great sin, that he hasn't managed to make the best players in the world play reasonably well or like a team. Short squad, which is the fault of the one above, and also Ancelotti's fault for accepting it and arriving at press conferences and saying, we're fine. No, we're not fine. Damn, go into Florentino's office and say, hey kid, I can't train like this. But let's see, what is he doing? They play by different rules compared to Manchester City and company and other teams. Well, the state clubs and those who, without being better off financially than Real Madrid, when they have these types of situations, they sign players. What do those coaches do? Well, they go into the president's office, I imagine, right? And they say, hey, either you fix this, especially when my starting right back is injured, the starting center back, and bring me reinforcements. Everyone has reinforced. Madrid hasn't. So, of course, Ancelotti had to make do with what he has. You accept that situation, and then on top of that, you poorly assemble your pieces. Young man, well, in the end, you have what there is. As I say, at the moment of the goal from Vinicius, I remember today Luciana, who the other day told me something has to happen, that if Raya loses a ball, that Saliba lost it. And there I thought that maybe something very crazy could unfold. But what I said at the beginning is that there is no foundation. And then Madrid has been desperate and with very little, with an Endrick who puts a lot of heart, but not much thinking in this case. Endrick puts heart and guts into it, without a doubt, but not much thinking. And you might say, well, the kid does what he can. He has a few minutes and so on. He's a forward, I think very usable, with a lot of potential. But for now, I think he's a bit unripe. I don't want to be unfair to the boy, as someone might comment, hey, don't be too hard on Endrick, but as an option, yes, I would have also put him like Ancelotti did. But what do you want me to say? At Madrid, a little more is demanded. A little more. He missed one there at the end that, well, it's, gosh, he's supposed to do that. I think today it wouldn't have done better than it was done. Not even with Ceballos in the starting 11. And even though I've criticized quite a bit that Ceballos wasn't there, because it seemed to me one of the best ways within what there is to play the ball cleanly. Maybe it would have been played more cleanly and better, because Madrid had many problems playing the ball, many problems. But even seeing Ceballos at the level he is, also, I think not either. Today was, a match of impotence. Well, that's what it was, a match of impotence. Not even the referee. I repeat, and it's true, that he crushed us at little fouls. Ours were all called. Theirs, some were called. I insist it is not an excuse. I am not focusing on that at all, but really the penalty, the holding on Asensio, those are the kind of holds that are never called. But, if it's going to be reviewed and you see it, you have to call it. Okay. Here it's more the VR than the field referee, because he saw it perfectly, okay? An action that had gone completely unnoticed, and he calls it and whistles, and then in another, which the referee below sees perfectly. I thought that when they call him from the VAR, he is watching, let's see if there was an offside. And no, he's checking if the hold is enough, but you just saw it and gave him a yellow card. You were super sure. There's a referee. He has to tell the VAR guys, hey, Chato, I don't know if there's audio of this. No, they don't usually include it. Hey, Chato, I've seen it. What are you telling me? But the VR official really didn't want that to be a penalty, because if one is a penalty, the other has to be a penalty too. In fact, there was even a talk on Asensio. Odegaard grabbed him, but Asensio didn't fall to the ground. It wasn't as blatant. But let's go. It's the same. It's the same. Not even Courtois stopping a penalty, which also seemed there, like maybe the thing, because Madrid had to rely on a lot of emotion. But no, because there was no basis. Mbappe injured. Let's see how long he will be out, if he will miss a league match. The thing is whether he can make it to the cup final. If some might think, well, it doesn't matter if he doesn't make it to the cup final, because today Mbappe was quite weak. What a season. And even so, he has scored 33 goals, surpassing to Cristiano as the best debutant in Real Madrid's history in terms of scoring. But nothing. European Cup, very, very sad year. Let's see how we finish it. For me, Ancelotti has to go, as I told you at the beginning. I think it's not going to happen. I believe it's not going to happen, unfortunately. And now we can only pray to finish the league decently and play a final of Cup, I don't know what, because today I don't see, or Barca falls a lot, and yesterday Barca showed signs of some fatigue, or that, well, a Dortmund that is a much worse team than Madrid, well, worse players, because as a team, I think maybe it even works. As a team, practically all of them, the big ones, work better, I mean, right? Well, do a little damage in that final and let them bring out their pride, the footballers, and get under that table to see what happens, right? And then the Club World Cup, that's another thing, and that's why I think this man has to go. If Madrid, as a club, as an institution, has put all its hopes in the Club World Cup, going like this, especially now in a post-season tournament, you have to go with someone new there. I don't know. Hey, a Solari, whoever, because for me, the next coach has to be Xabi Alonso, not the one who would take over now, but someone who should push forward. The situation is quite difficult. Florentino has to do something, of course, because if not, people will start turning to the stands, and it's certainly justified. Hey, Ancelotti, thank you very much, man. Thank you very much. We've experienced incredible moments with you. At the helm of this Real Madrid, the most decorated coach in the history of Real Madrid, and the one with whom we will have fantastic memories. And I would give him a position in the club as spokesperson. He can do whatever he wants, but no longer coach Real Madrid, because it's clear he couldn't handle them this year and the cycle is ending. Hope all goes well for you. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel. Please comment, share, and we'll be back with reactions later, which I think will be tomorrow. Bye.